Long ago, the people of Israel had turned away from God, leading to their oppression by the Philistines for 40 years. In the small town of Zorah lived a man named Manoah and his wife, who was barren and deeply desired children. One day, an angel of the Lord appeared to her and declared, "You will conceive and bear a son. Be careful not to drink wine or eat anything unclean, for he will be a Nazirite, dedicated to God from birth. He will begin to deliver Israel from the hands of the Philistines." Eagerly, she ran to tell Manoah of the message. Manoah, curious and awed, prayed for further guidance on how to raise this promised child. The angel reappeared, instructing, "Let your wife follow all I have commanded. This boy will be set apart for God from the womb." The prophecy was soon fulfilled, and they named their son Samson. As he grew, the Spirit of the Lord began to work powerfully within him, preparing him for his future role. Samson's marriage and the lion encounter. When Samson reached adulthood, he spotted a Philistine woman in Timnah and insisted on marrying her, even against his parents' wishes. His parents protested, questioning, "Is there not a woman among our people? Why go to the Philistines, our enemies?" But Samson was determined, saying, "She pleases me well." Little did they know this was part of God's plan to confront the Philistines. On his way to Timnah, Samson was attacked by a young lion, but empowered by the Spirit of the Lord, he tore the lion apart with his bare hands. Later, he passed by the carcass and found bees and honey inside it. He took some honey and ate it, sharing it with his parents, though he didn't reveal its origin. This act would later inspire a riddle he would use to challenge the Philistines. The riddle and betrayal. At his wedding feast, Samson posed a riddle to 30 Philistine guests. Out of the eater came something to eat, and out of the strong came something sweet. He wagered 30 linen garments and 30 sets of clothes if they could solve it within 7 days. When they couldn't figure it out, the Philistines threatened Samson's wife, forcing her to beg Samson for the answer. Pressured by her constant pleas, he finally revealed it, and she immediately told her people. On the 7th day, the Philistines approached Samson with the answer, "What is sweeter than honey, and what is stronger than a lion?" Furious at their betrayal, he declared, "If you had not plowed with my heifer, you would not have solved my riddle." Driven by the Spirit of the Lord, Samson went to Ashkelon, killed 30 Philistines, and took their garments to settle his debt. This betrayal set off a chain of revenge that would fuel the rest of Samson's life. The burning of the fields. When Samson returned to visit his wife, he discovered her father had given her to another man. Enraged, he vowed revenge on the Philistines. He captured 300 foxes, tied them tail to tail with torches, and released them into the Philistine fields, setting their grain, vineyards, and olive groves ablaze. In retaliation, the Philistines burned Samson's wife and her father to death, igniting even greater fury in Samson. Samson retaliated by striking down many Philistines before retreating to a cave in the rock of Etam. The Philistines, determined to capture him, invaded Judah and demanded he be handed over. Afraid, the men of Judah confronted Samson, saying, "Don't you know the Philistines rule over us? Why have you brought this upon us?" Samson agreed to surrender, but only if they promised not to kill him themselves. They bound him with ropes and delivered him to the Philistines. The jawbone of a donkey. As the Philistines approached, the Spirit of the Lord came upon Samson once again. He broke the ropes as if they were burnt flax and seized the jawbone of a donkey, using it as a weapon to strike down 1,000 Philistines. Triumphant yet exhausted, Samson cried out to God, "You have given me victory, but now shall I die of thirst?" God responded by miraculously opening a hollow in the ground, from which water flowed, reviving Samson. Samson and Delilah. Later, Samson fell in love with a woman named Delilah in the valley of Sarek. Seeing an opportunity, The Philistine rulers bribed her with 1,100 pieces of silver, each to discover the secret of Samson's strength. Delilah repeatedly pleaded with Samson to reveal his secret, and each time he gave her a false answer. He claimed he could be weakened with 7 fresh bowstrings, new ropes, or if his hair was woven into a loom. But each attempt failed, and Samson's strength prevailed. Frustrated, Delilah continued to press him until he finally revealed the truth. "No razor has ever touched my head, for I have been a Nazirite dedicated to God from birth. If my head were shaved, my strength would leave me." Seizing this chance, Delilah lulled Samson to sleep on her lap, called in a man to shave his head, and then cried, "The Philistines are upon you, Samson." Without his hair, Samson's strength vanished, and he was captured. Samson's imprisonment and humiliation. The Philistines took Samson to Gaza, where they gouged out his eyes and bound him in bronze shackles. They forced him to grind grain in prison, reducing him to a symbol of mockery and humiliation. However, during this time, Samson's hair began to grow back, signifying a return of his strength. The Philistines gathered in their temple to celebrate, offering sacrifices to their god Dagon, declaring, "Our God has delivered Samson, our enemy, into our hands." They brought Samson out to entertain them, placing him between 2 pillars. Samson's final act of strength. Blind and broken, Samson asked the servant guiding him, "Place me where I can feel the pillars that support the temple." Surrounded by Philistine leaders and thousands of people, Samson prayed, "O Lord God, remember me. Strengthen me once more, that I may take vengeance on the Philistines for my 2 eyes." With a mighty push, he braced himself against the pillars, crying, "Let me die with the Philistines." The temple collapsed, killing Samson and everyone inside. In his final act, Samson killed more Philistines than he had during his lifetime. Despite his personal struggles and flaws, his story reveals themes of redemption, the consequences of pride, and the power of returning to God. Though his life was marred by conflict and mistakes, his faith in his final moments brought about deliverance for Israel, fulfilling the purpose God had set for him.
If you found this video enjoyable, please consider liking and sharing it. Additionally, subscribing to this channel will ensure that you receive more updates in the future. Thank you.